now my face cam is framed within this webcam frame, which you could have resized, by the way. And nice and neat here, so that it's just me. Got a nice little frame for it that matches the rest of the theme, and you're not seeing too much extra space behind me. Just me, some of my background lighting, that nice little RGB PC case back there. You get the idea. So if you go over here to your Twitch dashboard and go to channel, you can come over here to video player banner. This is where you're going to upload that offline image. I'm not going to do it just yet because I want to customize it a bit, but that's where you update it. You have up to 10 megabytes, so if you add a bunch to the JPEG, just make sure it's small enough. Customize it. They do provide you all of these icons, including a PSD with the icons for you to basically type out your social media accounts or your PC specs or things like that, or if you want to use them to make your own Twitch panels. All of these are provided here for you as helpful little PNGs, which is really nice. All right, so now that we have our stream starting and stream be right back and stuff, we can come over here to the different folders and use the icons to create our own information panels on these pages. So I'm going to lock the background, and then we can move around the text as we see fit. Because this initial screen is pretty cool. It's saying stream starting, everything's animated and things like that. Like, that's already a step above everyone else. But if we want to go one step further, put this up here. By the way, if you don't like how this is moving around, you can go to Settings, General, Snap Sources to Horizontal and Vertical Center. And then you can snap it to other sources and edges and things like that. And so you can see it kind of hitched there as it counts. Your life a lot easier. All right, so we're going to add image. You got to know what you're doing first. So, for example, we have about cheer. Well, you'd use the cheers for like actual cheer emote development or whatever. But you can have your about section, Discord, Facebook, Steam profile. There's a lot of options here. So we're going to start with Discord. But since this is pink, I'm not sure it'll overlay well on the pink theme. But we will try it. So I'm going to call it Discord_pink. Click OK. Browse. We're going to come over here to the pink folder, icons, and Discord. And they do have two sizes for it. This is the default size. Yeah, you can see here, depending on where you have it, it might not be the easiest to see, but that's okay. All right, to go along with the Discord icon here, which we could make a little bigger if desired. You don't want to make it too big to get pixelated or anything. We can go plus, add a text source. We're going to call this join our Discord URL. Click OK. For the font, you want that big noodle titling that we installed with the package here. I have a lot of fonts installed, so I am actually going to type big noodle titling. And we're going to leave it on 36, and default white should be fine, although you could maybe add a pink stroke. I'm going to start with that, and we're just going to type eposfox.com/discord, if I can spell, and click OK, and we're going to pair that up nice and neat next to the Discord icon, which I have reset transform. I made it too big. So 36 font goes nicely with these icons, center up, and then you can select these two sources at the same time and move them around as desired below your text here. I'm going to put it there for now. I'm thinking like 3 at the bottom here. So we have Discord. We'll add a new text file, or a new icon file, rather, image. Which ones do we want to use? We have Discord, Instagram I'd like to promote through this, and then YouTube, of course. So that works. Or I could do Twitter, but everyone knows Twitter. So I'm going to do Instagram, or actually I'll just do IG_pink. Use naming that you know what things are, but don't require a lot of text. Instagram, okay. Drag this over, lock it kind of centered, get it over here a bit. New text source. We'll call this Instagram. eposfox. Select font again, big noodle titling. Default should be fine. Click OK. By the way, if you'd like to keep sources together, like the text with the icon, and move them around together without losing track of them, select them both in your sources list here. Right-click, group selected icon or items, and then you can call this Discord. minimize it. I can put these together. Group. Insta. And then we'll make a new group for YouTube too. I think this is pretty cool. You could make them bigger. You could add more information. I think this is pretty cool. You could even make a separate one where you kind of pop your face up when you're first starting over here or something like that. Now, if you were using the same color theming across all of your different sources here, you could actually just select these 3 groups and hit copy. And then under Be Right Back here, for example, I can just paste them as references or duplicate. So if you do reference, then anything, actually it only let me copy one at a time, but then anything I change in one will affect the other. So if I come down here and go to Discord URL and add like some numbers to the end, then when I go to Be Right Back, that's going to be changed. So theoretically, you might not want to do that, but if you want to be able to change the text without affecting both copies, then you can paste a duplicate. However, keep in mind, the actual image source will still be the same, and so if you change this, it will still change for the other one. So a little iffy. And if you want to make sure things are lined up between scenes here, you can actually right-click a group, transform, copy transform, come to the next one, right-click the group, transform, paste transform, and it will put it in the exact same size and place as the other one, which is really handy. So I'm going to recreate this in my 3 scenes, and we'll come back. Okay, by the way, if you're using the same color scheme, or for whatever reason with your setup, you want to use the exact same icon layout for all 3 of these scenes, you can actually put these groups in their own scene and nest that scene. It's a really powerful functionality of OBS. Or you can just add the groups. So for example, if I go to new scene, I can click add group and I can choose existing groups. So I can add existing Insta2, for example, and add that back in from the other scene. Or if I want all 3 of these on the same scene, I can make a new scene, call it slide text layer. Copy these over, which you can only do 1 group at a time, which is annoying. I keep forgetting. And I'm just going to roughly slide these across. I'm not actually going to keep this. And then on your scene, instead of doing them individually, you can add a scene, and choose slide text layer, and it adds them all at once. So then you can just update this singular scene, and it affects all of these. I have an entire video about scene nesting if you're curious, but ideally you get the gist. But I'm not actually going to do that here since I wanted different colors specifically. All right, next we are going to tackle the actual overlays. If you're in a specific folder, for example, we're going to go out to the default here, overlay. You have a few different ones like I showed you before. You have the stacks, and then you have the full widths. And once again, these are WebM files, so to add it to a scene, for example, I'm going to add it here with my console gameplay facecam scene. I'm going to add to media source. I'm going to call this overlay full width. We want it to loop, and then you can choose to close file when inactive to save some memory if you'd like. Go over here to overlays. I'm going to choose full width bottom default. Click OK. Now we got this nice little layout. It looked a little goofy in the media player, but it looks really nice here. And here you can have it start to scroll in your favorite tippers or cheers or top donators or whatever. You can have a bottom overlay, but we actually don't want to do it here on this scene because then you'll have to update it every time you want to add it to a different scene. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it. This is where you want to make a dedicated scene to nest. So we're going to make a new scene. I'm going to call this support overlays. And then here we are going to add that media file. Full width bottom overlay. Again, loop. Drag it in place on the bottom. And here you can also use, say, for example, the icons to indicate like which things you're featuring. So if I want to feature my most recent subscriber, I can use the subscribe icon. By the way, if you didn't know, you can just take icons, image files, and drag them onto the canvas, and it will add them as an image source. And then if you go to properties here, it is an image source. Kind of neat. I'm going to put over here, and then we're going to add a text. Again, Big Noodle is going to be it, but I'm going to say top subscriber, or most recent sub. And then you can drag it in, and if you need to really nudge it in place, you can use the arrow keys to get it exactly where you want. And then you have a place for it to fill that out. And then we can do the same thing for donations here. We have a star for tipping. And then for now, I'm just going to drag my name identifier here in the center. You could probably say top supporters or something like that, but you get the idea. Now I'm going to show you the benefit of scene nesting by, even though we're not done with this yet, I'm going to go ahead and go to our console facecam scene, and we're going to add this to our scene. So add scene, and then we're going to choose the existing scene, which is support overlays, and click OK. And you can see it adds everything we have here to the scene as one source, which we can mute or bring back. But that means every change we make in this scene is reflected wherever it's shown, which is really convenient. So if you don't have Stream Labels set up, log into your Streamlabs account, or there are alternative programs you could use other than Streamlabs' version specifically, but that's what I'm going to use here. And then under widgets, they have Stream Labels. As a little introduction setup guide, I recommend watching that if you don't know how to use it. Currently only available for Windows and Mac, but Linux support is coming shortly, although Streamlabs OBS is not available for Linux yet. Go ahead and click Windows if you're on Windows like I am, and run the installer. Keep in mind, if you are running Streamlabs OBS, none of this is necessary. It is built in, but I will have separate videos on Streamlabs OBS, hopefully shortly. It does save you a little bit of time with this. Go ahead and launch it, log in with Twitch. Now you need to choose output directory. What this is going to do is it's going to make a folder full of text files that it updates automatically, and that OBS will detect and automatically change your text based on. So, for example, I'm going to tell it in my documents folder to just make a folder. Actually, I have a Twitch folder here. Stream labels. I'm going to tell it to use that folder. That way it's always in my documents folder. I always know where it is. And then you get a little dashboard of your alerts and things like that. Unfortunately, this has to be running at all times on your system during your live streams in order to update in real time. So I'm just going to minimize it. Now back in our support overlays tab, we do want to add more text for our most recent subs and most recent tips. So I will add a new text file. We'll call this recent subs. And actually, I'm going to take most off of those texts. And we're just going to leave this blank. We're going to choose read from file. First, we're going to set our font, and then click browse. And now we're going to go to where I just told Stream Labels to save the text files to. So documents, Twitch, Stream Labels, and we want our recent subscribers. Okay, and I forgot this one doesn't let you do like a multiple one list. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the plural of that and just say most recent sub. Then we have the name here.